If you want an idea of how good Emmanuel Clase was last year in Cleveland as their closer, Taylor Swift released more versions of the same album in 2024 than Clase gave up runs. Clase was just shutting down hitters, Taylor was shutting down wallets, because that many versions of the same thing obviously didn't stop Swifties from buying every single one of them. Tay. Impressive on both ends, but yeah, Clase was basically as perfect as it gets. To me, it wasn't surprising to see. I've been riding Clase for years. I've been riding the Clase train for years. Yeah, that's better. In 2022, when everyone was giving Edwin Diaz the Kim Kardashian treatment, which was well deserved, don't get me wrong, I was the one standing alone saying that Clase, not Diaz, was indeed baseball's best closer / reliever. The biggest thing Diaz has and still does on Clase, even in 2024, is the strikeouts. Diaz averaged 14 strikeouts per 9 innings last year. Clase averaged 8. But at the end of the day, it's simple. Allowing runs is bad, limiting runs is good, and Clase has overall been better at limiting runs, especially last year. His ERA was at 0.61. Diaz's was at 3.5. It's fascinating because you'd think Clase's stuff would result in more strikeouts. He throws over 100 miles an hour and it moves. It's a cutter. But a cutter, even if thrown ridiculously hard, is a pitch that will result in more contact. Soft contact, though, which is obviously what makes him so great. Clase really has been most of his career a harder throwing version of Mariano Rivera. Rivera was never the biggest strikeout guy. Yeah, he could get strikeouts, but he threw a cutter and relied on soft contact. So it's fitting. Clase's won the American League Mariano Rivera Reliever of the Year award twice now. Last year, he was virtually unhittable, and everything was great, and he obviously was going to be the perfect weapon for the Guardians heading into the playoffs, and it looked that way in Game 1. Guardians were up 7-0. They didn't need him in the game, but he comes in, gets a quick 8-pitch, 3-up, 3-down inning, but what else would you expect? We're talking a 0.61 ERA here. I mean, what can go wrong? Really quick, as always, if you're part of the 51% of viewers not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button if you enjoy the videos, as it started in Game 2. In comes Clase in a much different looking game than the first one. Instead of Cleveland rolling on to a 7-0 lead, nobody had scored, and it was Clase's job to keep it that way, and at first he did. Spencer Torkelson, see ya. Parker Meadows, sit your ass down. He fires in strike one on Jake Rogers, a man who looks like he's been plucked out of 1925. I will never not think that when seeing him. You're thinking the Guardians are about to bat, until bam. Base hit on an even harder thrown cutter than the first pitch. 2 pitches later, Sidney Sweeney's brother then lines one to center, who said men from 100 years ago weren't athletic. Rogers is able to get all the way to third, and up comes Kerry the Carpenter, who immediately goes up 2-0 in the at-bat before Clase battles back. Foul, strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Here we go. Another slider fouled back. Clase sticks with that slider and throws it for the 3rd straight time, only for that to end up being a mistake as Carpenter smashes it. Like the Taylor Swift stuff, I'm pretty sure people having babies on airplanes was more common than home runs given up by Clase in the regular season last year. Yet, right here, bam, home run 3-0. His next outing was Game 4 in Detroit, with the Guardians 3 outs away from forcing a Game 5, and he immediately gives up a double. That run did score, but Clase recorded 3 straight outs to get the save, 2 grounders and a strikeout, and Game 5 back in Cleveland is where I at least thought at the time he redeemed himself. He comes in and is asked to not just get 3 outs, but twice that, so 6. And what did he do? He got every single one of those motherfuckers out. See ya. Kerry the Carpenter versus Clase, round 2, another long at bat. Clase says try and hit this 101 mile an hour cutter. Oh, you got a piece. Oh, you got another piece there. You can't hit it. See ya. Strikeout, ground out. 6 up, 6 down. Clase is back, baby. That's the 0.61 ERA guy we know and love. He puts the Tigers to sleep, and now here he is again, asked to get more than 3 outs now in Game 3 to get Cleveland their first win against the Yankees in the next round. It's 3-1, and we immediately have a heavyweight battle. 2024's best reliever against 2024's best hitter. Emmanuel Clase versus Aaron Judge. The best versus the best. Let's see what you got, and Clase just kept dotting the cutter low and away. Judge swings and misses at it for strike 2, takes the next one outside, and gets an almost identical pitch to the one he swung and missed at, and most hitters probably swing and miss at this, or at the very least pop it up, or whatever. But Aaron Judge is not most hitters. He's the 2nd best hitter ever behind Barry Bonds, so he takes this pitch and lines it over the right field wall to tie the game. Just like that. And before we even can fully process that happened, Giancarlo Stanton sends a hanging slider over the right center field wall to go back-to-back. Clase gave up 2 home runs all of 2024's regular season. In 2 batters, he's now matched that, and for the whole postseason, it's past that. What in the holy hell is going on? Jazz Chisholm then gets a hit. Guardians come back to win this game, so you're thinking, okay, give Clase another shot. He's not doing anything like that again. And although he didn't give up a home run again, he still got roughed up again. Now, here's what's annoying about Clase a lot of the time when he struggles. None of these baseballs the Yankees hit in this game off of him were smoked. Not one. Yeah, they were hit fairly well, but not crushed. He wasn't getting shelled, but they just put the bat on the ball well enough to knock him around. And there really isn't much to do to avoid that at that point. These singles by Anthony Volpe and Gleyber Torres were the best contact made, and even those weren't crushed, just well placed. But the problem with Clase is he's a guy who will give up contact, like I said, and when you have the Yankees just finding ways on putting the bat on the ball and placing it well, it can become a nightmare, like it did here, even without the home runs or any really rockets off the bat. But with that said, even with all the contact, Clase wasn't giving up runs like this before. Something was off, and it's only continued to be off in 2025. Clase was awful in spring training. He gave up 10 hits in 6 innings, which, okay, it's spring training, who cares? But clearly it meant something because it's still been going that way in the regular season. Clase's already given up more runs than he did all of last season. In 2 weeks, in 7 appearances, he's already given up more than he did in over 74 innings last year. Now, obviously, nobody should have expected to see him repeat a 0.61 ERA. That's ridiculous. But this is different than just simple regression. This is extreme struggles that date back all the way to the playoffs. On opening day, he gave up 3 hits and a run. Against the Angels a week later, he gives up 3 more hits, one of them a home run. A week after that, another 3 hits given up to the White Sox. The only reason he didn't blow this save being because Mike Tauchman's hamstring was like, hold up. 3 days later against the Royals, he has a 6-1 cushion and still almost blows that. 4 more hits allowed, 2 runs. The tying run comes to the plate after a game that was 6-1. That's how it ends. Now, 2 things of silver linings. Emmanuel Clase, even when good, isn't going to miss tons of bats, like I've said. And is he getting a little unlucky? Yes, his FIP, which is like if ERA took away luck, is about half of his ERA. His ERA is almost 8 at the time of this video. His FIP is about almost 4. And when you give up as much contact as Clase does, you will get a little unlucky at times. It's inevitable. Like this Bobby Witt Jr. single. That's a perfect example. But then there's the harder contact coming more than it ever did a year ago. That's the issue. Like after that weak Witt single, there were 2 smoked baseballs for hits. This hit was only about 80 miles an hour off the bat, which I guess is unlucky. But when you leave a slider over the plate like that, all Massey has to do is just put the bat on the ball. So even if he didn't crush it, per se, Clase still had bad location here. It wasn't a great pitch. The last out of the game, this ball was apparently hit at 100 miles an hour off the bat, but beaten right into the ground. So it didn't really seem that well hit. I don't know. Baseball's weird. But I think the overall thing you can clearly see is these guys are on his pitches more than ever. Nothing has changed, seemingly, from last year's October mess. And it's debatable, I guess, on who started it, on who originally broke Clase, like the origin. I mean, I guess you could say it was Carpenter, although I would say it was more the Yankees. Because after that Carpenter home run, he gave up 1 hit in 3 innings and even struck out Carpenter in a rematch. But absolutely nothing has been the same for Clase since Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton took him back to back, other than his lack of walks. But yeah, even in one of the outings he gave up no runs so far this year, he smoked Jonathan India in the face. He only hit 2 batters all of last year and 5 overall in 5 seasons, yet it took 2 games to hit his first this year. And that could be playing into his struggles. Maybe hitting India in the face has become a mental roadblock that is preventing him from being as effective from pitching inside. Stuff like that can be leading to more pitches ending up right over the middle where hitters like it and where they're crushing it. His command has never been an issue. Clase has always been a guy who rarely walks guys, and that's continued even through his struggles. But it's the constant contact and more frequent, harder contact somehow that all of a sudden started in October that's been a real issue. This isn't the end of Emmanuel Clase dominating, at least I don't see it that way. But I don't think it's as simple as things will even out. Hitters seem very comfortable out there, and it's been this way since the playoffs. It could be mostly mental, mostly mechanical, a mix of both, maybe something else. But the way I see it, the Yankees broke him, and if the Guardians want to be a real threat this year again, it's pretty important that the most valuable reliever in baseball last year, not just on Cleveland, like in all of baseball, doesn't continue being a liability out there now. Let me know your thoughts and thank you for watching.